Hey everybody, welcome back to the Caregivers Collective, the podcast where we share stories, insights, and encouragement for caregivers of all kinds. Today's episode focuses on a skill that can transform your caregiving experience. Today we're going to discuss mastering active listening. As caregivers, we often focus on providing physical and emotional support. But truly hearing and understanding our loved ones is just as important. Active listening can help us to build trust, reduce frustration, and improve communication. But how can we practice it effectively? Today we'll explore techniques and strategies to become better listeners in our caregiving role. The power of active listening. Caregiving can be overwhelming, and in the midst of daily tasks, we may find ourselves listening passively rather than actively. But active listening is more than just hearing words. It's about understanding emotions, responding with empathy, and creating meaningful connections. So what exactly is active listening? It's the practice of fully concentrating, understanding, responding, and remembering what is being said. Unlike passive listening, where we may hear words but not fully process them, active listening requires engagement and intentionality. To integrate active listening into your caregiving role, start with a few core techniques. Number 1, maintain eye contact. This shows your attentiveness. Paraphrase and summarize what your loved one is saying to confirm your understanding. Ask open-ended questions. This encourages a deeper conversation. And provide affirmations and empathetic responses to validate their emotions. And finally, minimize distractions. Be fully present in your conversations with your loved ones. These steps may seem simple, but when practiced consistently, they can create a more supportive and trusting, caring environment. Even with the best intentions, we all face obstacles when trying to be good listeners. Some of the most common challenges caregivers encounter include the good old time constraint. The demands of caregiving can make it harder to slow down and listen fully. Then there's emotional fatigue. Dealing with a loved one's needs can be overwhelming, making it difficult to engage in meaningful conversations. Listening to difficult emotions. When a loved one expresses frustration, sadness, or anger, it can be hard to stay open and responsive. So how do we overcome these barriers? Start with practicing mindfulness. Practice mindfulness to stay present and focused in conversations. Set aside dedicated time for open communication, even if it's just a few minutes each day. Acknowledge emotions by validating feelings rather than rushing to offer solutions. Use nonverbal cues like nodding and leaning in to show engagement. By addressing these challenges proactively, caregivers can foster deeper, more meaningful relationships with their loved ones. Let's discuss practicing empathy through listening. A key component of active listening is empathy. When we listen with empathy, we go beyond hearing words. We seek to understand the emotions behind them. This means putting ourselves in our loved one's shoes and responding in a way that acknowledges their experiences. To practice empathetic listening, avoid interrupting, or rushing to provide solutions. Sometimes people just need to be heard. Validate their emotions by saying things like, I can see that this is really difficult for you, or reflect back feelings by rephrasing what your loved one has expressed. Be patient even when conversations are repetitive or difficult. Empathy strengthens connections and reassures your loved ones that their thoughts and their feelings really do matter. Of course, it's always important to have self-care. Self-care for the listener is very important. Listening deeply can be emotionally exhausting, especially when caring for someone with chronic illnesses, dementia, or other complex needs. That's why caregivers must also take care of themselves to remain effective listeners. Here are some ways that you can recharge. Set healthy boundaries and recognize when you need a break. Seek a support system from other caregivers or friends or professional counselors. Engage in activities that help you to relax and decompress, such as journaling or meditation. And remember that you don't have to have all the answers. Sometimes just being present is enough. By prioritizing your well-being, you can ensure that you can continue to provide compassionate care and attentive listening to your loved ones. We're going to end with some encouragement and a few final thoughts. As caregivers, we often prioritize our loved ones' needs above our own. But active listening is a way of strengthening both our caregiving and personal well-being. When we listen with intention, we create an environment of trust, we reduce stress, and improve communication. So, if you take one thing from today's episode, let it be this. Listening is one of the most powerful acts of care. It's not always about having the right words. It's about creating a space where your loved ones feel truly heard and understood. So thank you for joining me on today's episode of the Caregivers Collective. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit from it. And as always, take care of yourself just as much as you take care of others. So until next time, this is Tangela signing off from the Caregivers Collective.